Welcome back. Of course, you can call in. I knew you were just wanting to ask that. 888-673-1450. Where do I go for supplements? ActivateFIQ.com, and just ordered some last night actually. And boy, do they have a lot. And their histamine is amazing, and getting a lot of people saying, "Oh my gosh, this is a game changer." So the histamine is amazing, and it's all natural. Love their products because they put quality ingredients. They really care about what goes into that product. ActivateFIQ.com. Code word is Kate. So make sure you're doing that because they actually absorb into the body the nutrients. So let me circle back here to this patent real quick. And this patent, 888-673-1450, if you want to call in, if you're listening to me live in the afternoon. Mel's coming up, by the way, followed by Patrick Byrne to give us economy, what's going on, Mel Madison. But I did want to say 888-673-1450 is the call-in number. And, of course, you can call in. Okay, so we're one of the last shows that takes call-ins. Amazing. In 1985, while working for Arco, remember Arco Oil? If you're from California, you recognize that name readily. On a grant from the Pentagon's DARPA, a brilliant physicist, Dr. Bernard Eastlund, filed a patent, U.S. number 4,686,605, for a method and apparatus for altering a region in the Earth's atmosphere, ionosphere, or magnetosphere. And this was 1985. The patent description claimed that a specific beaming of powerful radio waves into the ionosphere could cause heating and elevate the Earth's ionosphere. It also could be used to control weather, altering jet streams, changing tornadoes, creating or denying rainfall. Arco was approached, the oil company, was approached by the U.S. military and sold them the patent rights from their then employee, Eastland. The U.S. military then reportedly turned the patent rights over to their top military contractor, Raytheon. Raytheon is reportedly also involved in the construction of every major ionosphere heating radar allies globally. Okay. If there's any doubt, I would imagine there would be no doubt. I would hope at this point we can stop calling it a theory. It's getting really annoying for me, for everybody that talks about it. I also wanted to mention Ezra's eagle for just a moment. So people have been asking me how I feel about the Ezra's eagle. Ezra's eagle is a dream or vision, whichever, in Esdras, which is in the Apocrypha. It's the books, the selection of the few books that were not included into the King James Version of the Bible, into the Bible. And what do I think about it? I just wanted to... There's only a couple of issues I have with it, actually. So what it is, it's the eagle, and he sees the feathers, and he talks about some of the feathers being longer or shorter, okay? And you've got all these feathers on the right, and then you've got these shorter, I think it's 6 feathers on the left. And the interpretation of that has gone sort of mainstream now, and people are kind of checking it out, and I think even Glenn Beck was talking about it. People are checking it out. And if you start with Hoover and you line up the feathers to a certain degree, it's not perfect at all. But if to a certain degree, you can go Hoover and FDR, and you can go through the presidents, and it lines up on one side, and then we're starting on the left side now, okay? And it can match up with some of the presidents and in office, their terms in office. Here's the 2 issues I have with it. And I'm just kind of giving you my working paper on it, okay? My working thoughts on it. But this is what keeps hitting me. Why would a vision like that be talking about the puppetry in the election cycles in America? Because we know that the president doesn't do what they say the president does, okay? And they are more of a figurehead and have been since Hoover. Actually, a couple right before Hoover. Warren Harding, I think he was snuffed out. He was actually a decent president, right? and before him. So really, at the beginning of the 1900s, our presidency went from being influenced to being taken over completely by the 60s, if not the 50s, but by the 60s for sure. And we saw evidence of that with JFK and the Watergate thing, getting Nixon out. They have that kind of power. So that kind of hit me. Why would it be the puppetry? It should be talking about the real thing, because it's really talking about the last days is really what it's talking about, and sort of reminiscent of Revelation, okay, the book. So why would it talk about the puppetry, though? Because the puppetry, like I said, is the face. So there's one thought. Here's the other thought I had about it, too, with Ezra's eagle. We're kind of in this mode thinking that on the bird, you have one side, okay, that's flapping, and now we're on the other side that's flapping. And a bird, flaps its wings together. And I kind of thought that the little 6 short feathers were the opposition to what's happening, right? And maybe they're the opposition to what's going on. So those were the only 2 things about it where I kind of went, I don't know if it's fitting. The presidents, I don't know about that. And I could be wrong. And maybe it just fits perfectly, and you got the one feather that's lined up to all the presidents since Hoover, and it showcases their terms in office, Kennedy cut short and yada, yada, yada. But it seems to me that if it's a bird, it would be using both wings, and that you would have maybe some opposition there. I don't know. But I'm just kind of giving you my working thoughts on it. Those are the only 2 things that kind of hit me off. That was off just a little bit. Anyone can go read that online. It's all you have to do is look up Ezra's eagle, and you'll see it. You can also Google images on it, and you can see sort of how the presidents line up. And I like the guy a lot. That he's very, very smart. That did this interpretation of it as far as the presidents go. But why would it follow the puppetry? That doesn't make sense. The puppetry doesn't. The people that take over the monetary system, if you're going to go scripture, okay, I think would be more in the Middle East. And you have kings that hand off their, this guy's the king, then this guy's the king. And usually it's familial, right? And they sort of hand it down, just like the feathers, right? One at a time, doing their time in as kings. It might be a really good exercise to go look at the length of the time that kings serve and what they're doing, maybe if you wanted to line it up in that way. But I think that they will have more to do with us and what happens to our monetary system, the buying and selling and so forth. That rings a lot more true than what our face of the country, our puppetry is going to do. So I'm going to just throw that out there as food for thought, okay? Because I think these things are good to think out in our minds and really sort of try to understand all angles of those kinds of things if you want to read those things. I don't know that we'll ever be able to interpret it correctly. And, the signs are all in front of us. We can see what's going on right now. I'll be right as well. But I did like his interpretation. It wasn't that. I'll be right back. Kate Daly Show, more with Mel Madison when I come back.
Lionsgate Recovery staff has over 200